Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Maruti Suzuki has come out with a set of numbers, and today I am joined by Mr. Shashank Srivastava, Senior Executive Officer at Maruti Suzuki for Sales and Marketing. Thank you, Shashank, for joining us. First question for you: tell us about the numbers. If you look at it, sir, 1.53 lakh units sold in September versus 1.50 in September last year. A little decline, a little flattish to say so. Is there a trend about it, or is it a normal thing to see?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned last time when we interacted, this month, this quarter itself, you would see large volumes but muted growth when you compare with last year, because last year numbers were also very high. That is why, even though Maruti Suzuki saw a growth of 1.6% in September, but it has seen the highest ever quarter in the passenger vehicle. 4,59,000 was the number in Q2. This is the highest ever quarter for Maruti Suzuki. Also for H1, which is the period April to September, overall Maruti Suzuki sold 10,50,000 vehicles. This is the first time it has crossed the 1 million mark in a half of the year. That's also the highest ever. So in that sense of overall volumes has been great. But yes, because of the large base of last year, this quarter you would have seen, not just for Maruti Suzuki, for the industry as well. In fact, Chetan, for the industry, the number in September, highest ever in any month of any year in our history, 3,63,733, but the growth is only 2.3%.
Okay. Okay. A very interesting set of numbers. Could you throw some light there on that end? What you mentioned towards the end?
The September for the industry has been the highest ever
Right.
in a monthly sale in any year of any month in our history.
Oh,
But the
wow.
growth is only plus 2.3%, because last year September was pretty high at 3,55,000 plus.
Hmm.
In fact, for the industry, Chetan, for correspondingly, quarter two is also seen 1 million being crossed, is also the highest ever quarter in the industry.
Oh,
And
wow.
H1, that is April to September, industry has crossed the 2 million mark. That is also the highest ever and the first time ever. And in January to September, that is the 9-month period, it has crossed the 3 million mark. That also for the first time ever, and it's the highest ever.
So January to September has been a great time for the auto industry, clearly.
Yes,
Tushar sir,
yes.
also, if I may point out, I was looking at the numbers. The share of entry-level cars has again dropped significantly. Uh,
Hmm.
is there a relooking that's being planned?
So the industry, the this contribution to the passenger vehicle for the small cars, the hatches, has come down to 30%. Last year it was 34%. On the wholesale aspect, it looks, I think, worse than what actually it is on the retail side. And the reason is that we have modulated our production for the cars in line with the inventory levels that we had seen previously. So retail numbers are much better, and the wholesale comparison also is a little skewed, I think, if you compare with September of last year. September last year we had the Alto 800, which did about 14,000 numbers. That base exists for, because we had the Alto 800 last year. The Alto 800 does not exist now. It's only the Alto K10 which is giving us those numbers. So it's not a like-to-like comparison, but I think overall, as we have seen in the last 4 or 5 years, there has been a decline in the entry-level segment. No doubt about that.
But are you really looking at a strategy to reduce the numbers of vehicles being manufactured?
So in this quarter, we have, yes, you're right, because remember, because of the semiconductor supply constraint, we were not able to produce many of the other vehicles for which we had long pending bookings. And in fact, the number of bookings were very large. And we have, thankfully, in this quarter, that is from July onwards, we have seen much better situation as far as that is concerned. And we have been able to modulate our production for the small cars and been able to make the larger the SUVs, some of the other vehicles which had long waiting period, including the Desire and the Brezza, which we have been able to make now. And that is how our waiting periods have come down for those other models. And also that the inventory is coming under control for the dealers for the small cars as well.
All right. Also, sir, if I look at the exports, last month exports were a bit flat. How are they looking now?
Yeah, so exports are actually good numbers, 22,000 plus against 21,500, I think, of the previous year. Flat, you are right. This H1 has been like similar numbers, 132,000, which was similar to the last year number. We Last year we had a record exports of 259,000. We are still maintaining that we're going to cross that number by the end of this financial year.
Okay, sir. And also, 1.2 lakh Grand Vitara sold, a good milestone to be completed in a year, sir. Is there a plan to revamp or relaunch or get a facelift version of the Grand Vitara?
So the facelift or the minor change is obviously a process for all vehicles, and that I'm sure would exist for the Vitara. Although I'm not able to give you the exact timeline for that. But Vitara, you are right; it has crossed the 100,000 miles, the fastest ever mid SUV to get to that number. So it's been a great going for the Vitara, and I hope that in the balanced part of the year, we'll continue to produce and supply the Vitara in the numbers we have witnessed in the last few months.
Right. And also, sir, as far as Jimny goes, there were initial reports of the company being in talks with the Indian Army on supplying a bulk deal with them. So, has they proceeded? And is there any update on that?
So, see, we are just in touch with the defense forces as also other customers to see if we can make a progress as far as supply of Jimny to them is concerned.
But
It's difficult for me at this stage to give you more details about that.
sure. Also, sir, any new more SUVs being planned after Invicto? How's the response been there? And do we see any new SUV coming up kind of as a fresh surprise during the main festive season now?
Not in this main festive season, but I must tell you that Maruti Suzuki has always, gone with consumer choices. Always have enhanced our portfolio. You saw that in the last few months. We have introduced the new Brezza, the Vitara, of course, and the Fronx, the Jimny, and the Invicto. And that's one of the reasons why we have been able to become the number one manufacturer of SUV in this H1. In fact, we were number four last year with 12% share. Our share this quarter has been almost 24 and a half, 25%. And that's why we are number one manufacturer in the country today. And going forward, I think we need to get more market share in the SUV segment if we have to achieve our 50% market share, because now SUV is 50% of the market. And in the non-SUV, we have a 65% market share.
Right. Of course, sir. And towards my last end of the question, sir, the company in this regulatory filing yesterday mentioned about a 193 crore show cause notice from the GST authority, sir. What does it entail, and what's the company's response?
Yeah, so I think we have filed our response in the stock exchange, and I'm not involved or too much in the knowledge about that because it happened just a couple of days back. We have a holiday till Tuesday, and after we study the notice, we'll be able to give you more details about the same.
Sure, sir. And also, the Bharat cap has been into effect from today, the 1st of October. How prepared is the company?
It's BN we welcome it because safety is becoming very important for all consumers. As you know, Maruti Suzuki so always followed whatever regulations are there as regards safety, and in fact now the consumer choices are also based on safety. So it's great that you can have some safety ratings for consumers. They can make informed choices, and therefore we have welcomed this BN norms. It's also more relevant, I think, to the Indian condition, unlike the previous ratings, which were like more not specific to India. So in that sense, it's a very good step.
Sir, also there were reports on a Swift hybrid being planned in a more bold SUV manner for F424. Can you give us some light on that?
I'm afraid, as I said, I always mention that to you, Chetan, that I am not authorized to give you specifics of any product changes going forward.
Sure,
You always keep trying your.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Pleasure as always to speak to you, sir. Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share, and subscribe.